This is the DTV Digest, the podcast that brings you news and reviews of films which didn't make it to the cinema. And now, here's your host, Mike Parkin.
Hello everyone and welcome to the DTV Digest. I'm your host Mike Parkin and joining me this week are Richard Hawes.
Hello everyone.
Stephen Lockridge.
Hello.
And Amanda Robertson.
Hi.
Awesome. This week we've got yet another 8 films to go through. We're going to kick off with Scott Eastwood and Sylvester Stallone in Mission Alarum. Then we have a film called Americana. In Vitro from Australia, then Psychotherapy starring Steve Buscemi, Riff, Raff, which has got a hell of a cast, then Sovereign. Actually, you know what? There's a lot of good cast this week. Sovereign with Nick Offerman and Dennis Quaid, The Astronaut with Kate Mara and Lawrence Fishburne, and then The Shepherd Code 2 Road Back, which has the likes of Mark Strange and Shayna West in its cast. Our short shot this week is The Milk Situation. And then we're going to round off with Sharto Copley in Open Grave for our DTV throwback. So, without further ado, let's crack on. Our first film then is Mission Alarum. 2 rogue spies go off-grid, marry, and then come under attack at their remote cabin hideaway by various intelligence agencies seeking a stolen hard drive. Okay, so we've got an interesting cast with this one. We've got Scott Eastwood. We've got the likes of Sylvester Stallone, who I must admit was in this more than I expected. You know, this has all the markings of a geezer teaser, especially as it's from Bond Media Capital. You know, so as soon as I see their name, I become incredibly cynical, really, because you know they were responsible for a lot of the you know, the Bruce Willis stuff and all that, and others, and so I was going in this a little bit cynical. It's not too bad overall, but it looks crap. You know, the cinematography is just incredibly bland all the way through this. It is dull as dishwater to look at. It's pretty dull as dishwater to watch, full stop. Steve, what did you make of Alarum, or Mission Alarum, I should say?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty boring, to be fair. So not it. It annoyed me how it drip feeds you. You know, like from the start, you don't know. You get like a little bit of tiny,
Pretty pointless, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. She lands on top of him on a car, and he's like, "What are you doing next?" And then that's it. It just jumps about 3 or 5 years, is it actually? I think they're like off grid for like 5 years, aren't they supposed to be? And yeah, I just thought it meandered a lot. And like you say, I thought the photography was pretty bland. The editing I thought was a bit all over the place as well, to be fair. And just didn't really get into it. I mean, it's just a shame because, you know, I like Scott Eastwood. I think's done some pretty decent things lately. Obviously, you got Stallone, but Willa Fitzgerald as well. I like her, especially
exactly.
in Reacher. Mike Coulter, what was the weird accent? I don't get that. You know,
I think it was like meant to be French or something.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be, but God knows where he was coming from with it.
Yeah.
And it just, yeah, I just think they've all been involved in a lot better projects than this. I just thought it was very, very middle of the road.
The thing
I will
is,
say, I'm just going to interject. Say, I didn't get a chance to watch this one. I watched about 20 minutes of it, and I will, approximately. And I will say, it looked a lot better than the last film that Stallone did with Randall Emmett, which was Armor or Armored. It's titles floating around, and that one just looked incredibly dull. It's like really bare bones kind of thing. This one, I was actually getting into it, but I got to the point where the group or whatever has discovered the crashed Cessna or whatever it was, and I didn't quite get beyond that. But I was getting involved in it. I thought this seems like it's got potential, and you're telling me that it really just sort of wound itself up and didn't really kind of get anywhere from that point.
Yeah.
The thing is, what you end up with is a film of, they split the couple up. This is the annoying thing. Willis Fitzgerald ends up on her own adventure. Scott Eastwood does his own thing. So Scott Eastwood is continually talking to his ex-bosses in the CIA, whereas Willa Fitzgerald is in a sort of Die Hard in a hotel kind of situation for her part. And for a lot of the film, they're kept apart, and it just throws the whole what you think the concept of the film is meant to be out the window, basically.
And where does Stallone fit in?
Oh, he's like a rogue. He's a loose cannon CIA operative who tends to make things very messy for them when he's sort of brought in to do a job, kind of thing. I'll come back to this in a minute. So Amanda, have you had much exposure to Bondit Media Capital in the past?
Yeah, a few things. I watched that last one with Stallone, which wasn't
Armor.
Yeah.
The one where he's like in a armored car stuck on a bridge that they're trying to rob.
Yeah, good concept. It just didn't. Yeah, it didn't grab me. I think the same with this one. Although this one had a lot of different threads that you were trying to follow. And I think one of them lost me. I actually don't even remember why Mike Coulter was there. He just sort of popped up every now and again. And I was like, oh, okay. I forgot you were here.
Yeah, because his team was very quick on the scene.
Yeah.
In order to get that flash drive sort of thing. Oh, that's it. He was actually in the plane. He killed the pilot, then jumped out by parachute.
Yeah.
That's what he
weird.
That's why he's there so quickly. Yeah. There's
Apparently, I'm going to interject. I've heard there are a lot of references to it being a helicopter crash because they changed it during production from a helicopter to a plane, but then they didn't fix it in ADR.
No, I didn't notice that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that didn't come across because
in the credits there's a helicopter pilot credited and all this sort of stuff. But I think they couldn't afford it in the end.
Well, they couldn't afford a plane crash, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But there's a very sort of convoluted bit where Stallone tries to poison Scott Eastwood's character, but Scott Eastwood spots the poison before he's able to use it and does an old switcheroo. It's all very, very convoluted the way they did it, I think. It's like, haha, you think you poisoned me, but actually I poisoned you. It's all that sort of nonsense. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, up to that point you mentioned, Rich, I mean, that did have a bit of sort of outdoor photography and stuff, around the plane and that. But after that, they all go indoors in different places, and the lighting is just so bland. It really is. There's no color to anything, Apart from,
I remember seeing the trailer and just thinking, it just looks terrible. But then I started watching it. I thought, there's some potential here.
You know the opening credits, which are all done in red, and there's a shot of they kind of do what they did in with Kill 'Em All and sort of use elements of the film in the credits, but at least they sort of like gave it a bit of a red hue. And I sort of saw Stallone. I thought, they kind of sort of rotoscoped him a bit to sort of, to fit the credits. And then I saw that particular scene and went, oh no, they didn't rotoscope him. He actually looks that terrible. Yeah, it's just a really bad scene. I think this is a slight step up from some of the things we've seen from these guys. The director of this, a guy called Michael Polish, he did the Gina Carano film Terror on the Prairie, He also did the Mel Gibson film Force of Nature for Bondit as well, which was
I haven't seen that one.
Set in Puerto Rico during a hurricane.
There's another all in a house kind of thing, I think.
Yeah,
with,
yeah, that's that kind of thing. It's all right, but yeah, I think this is a slight step up, bigger cast, or the same guys wearing ski masks getting shot, basically. Okay, how are we going to score
just
it?
one more question.
Go on then.
So the film, so one thing that intrigued me was when the film starts, it says it's set in Poland, and I don't understand why, because it was shot in Ohio. Why did it need to be set in Poland?
It's only that opening scene.
Oh, it's only that opening bit, right?
Yeah. Well, no, actually, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. I think the opening bit was set in Prague, and then the whole thing with the ski lodge, that's in Poland.
Poland, yeah. But I don't know why not? Why it doesn't look like Poland? There's no Polish people around.
Oh my God! Oh, I've just remembered the one more thing about this stupid fucking film. There's a scene,
the fact that it's using a hard drive as its plot mechanism.
No. There's a scene where Stallone comes in. No, Stallone's on the helicopter, right? Stallone's on a helicopter with the helicopter pilot.
Right.
Okay. He poisons the helicopter pilot, and then leaves the body in the middle of the street. Okay. And there's like a crowd of people, and they've been told to sort of like, the director must have gone, right, you have to look puzzled and shocked. And you see these people just sort of like basically doing the most distracted sort of shrug of the shoulders, and just repetitively doing it because that's all they've been told to do. Just like shrug. I don't know. It is the worst crowd direction ever, I think. It just made me laugh.
So there is a helicopter in it.
There is a helicopter in it. You don't see it crash. But the pilot does get killed. Yes, there we go.
I don't know why they keep killing the pilots. Like,
it's weird.
What do they have with pilots?
They're gonna, Would you be a pilot for this agency? No, I'll pass.
No, it's like Spinal Tap drummers. No, thank you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just a side note, while we're talking about killing pilots and planes and all that sort of thing, I watched Flight Risk, which is Mark Wahlberg movie. Had a big theatrical release.
Yeah.
It's got it's directed by Mel Gibson, but it's the most DTV movie that's got a cinema release I think I've seen in ages, because it really promotes Mark Wahlberg as the main star, but he's not. He's gone for part of it. He's in the background. Right. It's all about Michelle Doherty and Topher Grace's characters. They're sort of the main ones. Anyway, and it's all set on the plane. It's entertaining, but I just thought, wow, they really did a number on this one, getting this one into cinema.
Well, I mean, I know a few people who think quite highly of it. I haven't seen it myself yet, actually. I do need to get around to seeing it. But
fine, but it's not a Mark Wahlberg movie. It's got Mark Wahlberg in it. But if there was ever a film that should have said "and Mark Wahlberg," I think that's the one. Yeah, because it's not your typical. Yeah. Maybe that's what they were trying to do, like subvert expectations or whatever. But I think it would just be a bit cheeky. Anyway, that's a complete digression. I apologize.
Yeah, I mean Stallone. He's been getting good word of mouth for Tulsa King, the TV show.
Thing. If he's doing so well with Tulsa King, I think he's just got another season coming out, and he's he's great in that. I've seen the first season, really good show. So why does he keep making these rubbish movies as well? It's just it doesn't make sense. I know he loves his money and stuff, but I think he would be much better off just.
Do you think he'd notice?
Just staying in the show.
Do you think he'd notice not having the money he made off this film?
Yeah, I think he's got so much money. He doesn't need to do it. He really doesn't need to be doing this.
Exactly. Okay, scores on the doors, Steve.
I think I'll give it a 5.
And Amanda.
I think I'm the same, probably a 5.
I can't see Bondit ever getting, from me at least, anything higher than a 6. So there's a 5 from me. 3 5s for Mission Alarum. as it's known in the UK, also known as Alarum elsewhere. Go check it out. Our next film is Americana. A disparate group of people find themselves gunning for each other when a priceless Lakota ghost shirt turns up on the black market in a small South Dakota town. It occurs to me, Amanda, that there's another film on this list today, which are just purely American films. I mean, it's interesting. It's called Americana because that's exactly what this is. I think to a certain degree, I question its relevance to anyone outside of the UK, or sorry, anyone outside of the US. It took me a while to get into this one, I must admit.
Yeah, I wasn't like. I mean, generally I was entertained, but I didn't love it. I could see it was a kind of. You could see the Tarantino all over it.
Tarantino / Coen brothers, yeah.
Yeah. Some
Definitely.
of the stories, it was a bit muddled. Some of them worked, but some of them I felt needed a little bit more time. Like I wasn't really invested in the Sydney Sweeney and Paul Walter Hauser part of the story. I think if you cut that, I don't think you'd miss it. But I really did like Halsey.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen her in anything before, but she was so good. And I really liked her story. I think I would have liked more of that story.
Yeah.
Because it kind of feels like it came out of nowhere. And I like
she goes back,
yeah.
Yeah, to her weird family.
Yeah.
Were they meant to be like
family.
Quakers or something?
Yeah, something like, is it the Quakers or like Mormon or something? Or
Yeah. It was very strange.
Some sort of trad wife thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely sort of trad wife scenario. I mean, even to this stupid situation where they're under attack, and they go, look, there's an extra 3 of us. We could definitely hold these guys off if you give us the guns. They're like, women can't use guns in this house. How dare you? You'd rather die than give up their principles. It's very strange.
I did like the reaction though was to just shoot them.
Yeah.
I was up for that.
I thought, that was impressive actually.
Yeah.
Which that in itself kind of it belied the sort of what's the word, abuse they were under and control. The fact that they thought this is our chance to sort this out. I think that spoke volumes. Even without sort of knowing the full story of what it was. Definitely. I was glad to see. It was interesting to see Eric Dane in this week because we covered Borderline just a couple of weeks ago, and he was like one of the main characters in that. And here he's playing a complete, ruthless sort of scuzzball kind of guy.
I always really like him though.
Yeah, exactly.
Great presence.
I didn't realize that he was a stalwart of Grey's Anatomy, like 100 episodes of, because I was sort of wondering, where did he disappear to? And it's like, oh, he's on that. You're not going to give up a gig like that. So this is directed by a guy called Tony Tost. This is his first feature. He's well known for doing things like TV shows like Longmire and Poker Face, sort of few things like that. I think he does a good job overall, but I just found myself not really getting into the characters as much as I thought. Sydney Sweeney was great. This, she really did sort of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of delve into the role. She's got this sort of stutter and things, and just sort of seeing the niceness of this guy who's like keeps proposing to his girlfriends after like a week or something. That was amusing enough. But it's the whole thing with the stupid kid who thinks he's the reincarnation of Sitting Bull or something. It's like, he just annoyed me so much.
Yeah, it was weird. And then he goes and he's like hanging around with all these natives, and you're like, what?
Yeah, it
But I was
is.
fine with it.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of my point in that it's sort of delving into sort of like something which is just purely American,
Hmm.
and I think it's difficult for anyone else to sort of really understand, even from like the sort of the trailer trash element. Sort of with Eric Dane's character living in this sort of, I don't know, sort of extended sort of trailer thing in the middle of nowhere. It's just very strange. I don't know, just off kilter.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so yeah, I mean Sydney Sweeney, known for loads of TV work. Euphoria, probably the most recent. Um, but it's the first time I think I'd seen her in anything, and I you know, when I realised who it was, I was like, bloody hell, she's actually really good in this.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean,
Um,
generally, I do quite like her. I just wasn't
mm,
invested in that story.
no,
Yeah.
it didn't. I mean, as a sort of an instigator, because she overhears people talking in the diners. She's one of the waitresses. She overhears somebody sort of doing a deal, finds a napkin where he's written down, date and time, sorry, place and time, that sort of thing, and then gets her boyfriend involved to sort of maybe we can get something going. Yeah, that bit I was fine with, but then yeah, it just sort of the rest of it, no.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a Shaggy Dog story, that's for sure. As you said, different strands sort of overlapping each other. How are you going to score it?
I think I'd probably give it a 6.
Yeah,
Uh, it's nice looking too, and there's some good stuff in it, but probably wouldn't watch it again.
that's exactly where I am on this one. So yeah, it's nicely shot and everything, but I found myself my attention was sort of coming and going with it. Sometimes I had to pick up. Um, it ended reasonably strongly, but it was meandering a lot beforehand. So yeah, I'll join you on a 6. So there you have it, 2 6s for Americana. Go check it out. Our next film is In Vitro. On a struggling cattle farm some years in the future, a woman discovers the unsettling consequences of her husband's animal breeding technology. Um, we got to a point, Rich, where when I see in the credits at the beginning, the Australian Arts Foundation or whatever it's called, New South Wales and all that sort of stuff. It's quite synonymous with quality. I tend to sort of perk up a bit when I see that because I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy what's coming out. And I must admit, I did like most of this one. Um, it's one of these ones which shows doesn't tell kind of scenarios where it wants you to sort of pick up what's going on as it goes. And what we got basically is a guy who's developing a cloning technology for cattle, to so he can sort of breed cattle quicker. Um, but as his wife finds out, he's also been dipping in a different gene pool, um, and that's where things tend to go wrong. Um, I kind of like the husband in this. His whole attitude is just like, look, okay, you found out what I was doing. It's just like incredibly blasé about the whole thing. Um, but yeah, I did like this. I thought it ended pretty strongly as well. I did like the way it's quite jarring what happens at the end because it doesn't sort of really let you in on what's happening until afterwards. But yeah, I digress. What did you make of In Vitro?
Yeah, I did like it. It is one of those kind of sci-fi movies that's sort of anti-sci-fi in that, it's
Mm.
not it's set in the future, but it's like there's no bells and whistles to it. It's
Yeah,
almost
it's
like stripped down.
Mhm.
I probably say, if you're talking about equating it to something in sort of the bigger budget realm, think of the future of Interstellar. You know, the sort of it's a farming kind of story. So you know, they don't have like loads of amazing gadgets and robots and things running around. It's just kind of regular people doing things, and they do talk about certain technology, but they, you know, you don't see much sight of it. So it is very grounded and quite realistic. So, but it just has this sort of you know, fantastical element to it. But it's done well. It's say it's very slowly paced. I think it's quite a calming film. You know, it's got a very modest pace. There is thrills, but it's quite relaxing because you're just amongst the fields and stuff really a lot of the time. But I did feel like I'd seen it before, and you know, you could kind of feel like where it was going to go, and the twists. I like the twists, but it was kind of like, yeah, I do feel like, yeah, that was where it was going to go because I feel like I've seen it before. But that aside, very well made, very, you know, good, very well produced. You know, small scale, like 3 cast members, I think. You know, maybe 4, but there's like really like 2 or 3 people in it, and it, you know, it's one of those films that uses its budget well. The poster that they put out for it looks
very
like it's
misleading, isn't it?
Yeah, I was trying to the first thing that popped into my head was Looper. So I think maybe they've emulated some of the Looper design for it, but it is, yeah. I mean, like you're saying, like the lead guy, you know, his delivery and everything's very laconic kind of thing. It's like, yeah, so and he's not very and his wife who's working with him. There's a tension in their relationship that you're not quite sure what's going on a lot of the time, but she's very kind of quiet and sort of submissive, but not in a. It doesn't seem like there's any sort of heavy-handed stuff going on. But as the story unfolds, I think the reasons for that become apparent and stuff. So that's all handled really well. It's essentially at its heart a relationship drama. It's these 2 characters, stuff happening. There's you know, they're isolated. There's a third party comes into play. They've got some you know, in, you know, a part to play in the story, and you know, some revelations that happen. So it's a familiar kind of mix. Yeah, I would recommend it. I'd say there's something I would call it in shorthand, but if I said that, it would give it away. So I don't want to give anything away of what really happens in it. But I would say if you're interested in sort of a small scale sci-fi story, not set in outer space, just in a recognizable future, but it doesn't even matter that it's set in the future. It could be could be set now. It's just, you know, it's just a small scale. I mean, like The Moor, you know, remember we watched that film The Moor, that had some fantastical stuff going on, but it was a horror story, but it was really just about the land and the people on the land and all that sort of thing. So yeah, I recommend it. I do like it.
I'm going to be really oblique now because there's a particular effect which was used in another. Oh God, I'm going to sound really crap. There's an effect that was used in another big budget film that they kind of replicated here, but in a much different way. You know, their approach to it was a lot different. I'm hoping you understand what I'm talking about, Rich. But it's very oblique. Okay, so this is directed by 2 guys, Will Howarth and Tom McKeith. From what I understand, I think Will is pretty new. Tom is a bit more of an experienced director. But yeah, between the 2 of them, they've done a good job here for sure. Yeah.
What do you think of the 2 leads? I thought they were good. I'd say they're not
very good.
actors I was familiar with either.
No,
but I thought they were both really engaging.
The guy reminded me, it's sort of a cross between Hugh Grant and Hugh Laurie, especially with the glasses and the floppy hair. But yeah, it's just like really, laid back, as you say.
That's Ashley Zuckerman, and he's playing Jack, and his wife Layla is played by Talia Zucker. Just to give them their due. But yeah, there's a few other people floating around in the story, but they're really the heart of the film is them and their relationship. I'd say, and it is really well played out, I think.
Definitely very enjoyable. How are you going to score it, Rich?
I'm going to give it a 7.
I'll join you on a 7. Yeah, a very solid film. Go check it out. Our next film is Psychotherapy, the shallow tale of a writer who decided to write about a serial killer. Yes, that's the full title. A struggling writer in the midst of a divorce befriends a retired serial killer who accidentally becomes his marriage counselor by day and killing counselor for his next book by night. I did like this one. It's a farce, is what it basically is. It's it's an old-fashioned farce where people mistake other people's actions, for something else. I was actually reminded, and I'm going to show my age now. I didn't see this when it first came out, saw it on repeats. But back in the day, there was a comedy series called Hancock's Half Hour
Oh God, yeah.
with Tony Hancock. And there was one particular episode where him and Sid James, who was his sort of flatmate or housemate, both thought the other one was planning to kill them.
Yes.
And that's what I was thinking of watching this. So yeah, basically, in a nutshell, this writer, he's approached by Steve Buscemi's character, who says he's a retired serial killer and that he should help him write a book. And he starts getting him to read all these books about like how to poison somebody or how to get away with murder, how to all this sort of stuff about forensics and pathology and that. And his wife sees all this and she thinks, "Oh my God, what's he planning here?" Because he's writing a book about Neanderthals in
Slovenia.
Slovenia or somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhat ridiculous. Now, this writer guy is the most clueless, patronizing guy
Yeah.
you can imagine, and he is so clueless. It is actually quite funny, in that the way he just doesn't understand his wife. He doesn't understand why she's angry. Doesn't understand why she's embarrassed by his stories at at dinner parties and things like this. That moment where they're in the car.
Yeah.
And she tells him the light screen and it's actually still red, and he just drives. I mean, that you can kind of get where she's coming from when she explains it. It's great. So yeah, I had I could see the fun in this. I could see the way the situation starts getting out of control. It starts snowballing, getting worse. And I thought the wife, who was played by Britt Lower, I think her name is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she was great. Yeah, absolutely loved her in this. She's done loads of TV stuff. She was in a series I really liked back about a decade ago called The Unforgettable, about a woman who had like a photographic memory and was working for the police. Usual sort of crap.
Oh, my daughter used to watch it.
Yeah, it was good fun. And she was one of the other cops, in the office kind of thing in that.
Yeah.
So yeah, quite liked her. What did you make of it before getting any further?
Right, this comes across to me as it's like American quirky with a capital Q. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's off kilter. It's not on really on a level. But then you say it does go farcical about halfway through, really. And yeah, I mean, he is the most annoying prick in the world ever. At one point she admits that she's tried killing him a few times, and I'm not surprised.
He's just so full of himself, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's quite amusing.
But the thing that did annoy me was the end. Because it's not an ending.
No, it's not. Yeah.
And he says that, it does say that, well, this isn't an ending or whatever. And I'm like, right, well, do one then.
Yeah.
Do an ending. Because
Yeah.
it
They
does.
they literally just ripped themselves into a corner and went, fine, we'll just up sticks
Yeah,
and call it a day.
kind of. It's like, have you ever seen the original ending for Clerks,
No.
where a robber comes in and shoots Dante,
Oh shit, no.
and kill. That was it. That was the original ending. And some guy said to Kevin Smith, said, "Look, the only reason why you've done that is because you've got nowhere to go. Just end it."
Hmm.
And that's that's like what they've done.
Hmm.
You know, I don't know. I mean, I did like the direction and stuff. I thought especially like the hotel,
Yeah.
you know, like the green and the dank and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and the set dressing and all that lot. And like I said, I thought the performance was great. Buscemi's just
Mhm.
Steve Buscemi
Mhm.
basically, you know.
Yeah.
And the wife's great. And yeah, it's quirky, a bit off kilter, and then the ending, it did annoy me. It really did. Because like I say, it just stops. And you're like, well, hang on. You've had
Indeed.
this big, massive kind of revelation. Not revelation, but big things just happened.
Hmm.
And that's it. And I'm like, what? I mean, normally, I know Rich will probably kill me for this, but when something finishes, that's it. I turn it off. This
Oh,
one,
there wasn't an extra credit scene, was there?
well, I went through it and didn't say anything, so no.
Good. Because I do that. I think, well, there's the credits. It's the end of the film, unless it's
Yeah.
a Marvel movie when you know there's
Yeah.
going to be something else. But anyway, now this does start in media res. Everyone knows I hate in media res, but in this occasion, it was used rather well because it sets up certain expectations of what's going to happen,
Mm.
and then later on it sort of pulls the rug from under you. So those expectations are just dashed,
Yeah.
which I liked. What I didn't like during that in media res bit was Steve Buscemi giving a whole monologue. It lasts a good minute or two of him just talking about how you're just like a speck of dust in the universe and all this sort of stuff. And I do have issues with monologues in films because no one talks like that
No.
at all, you know. And I've
No.
said it before, there's films we've covered before where, a villain will just go off and tell a weird story and then it's supposed to have some sort of relevance to the current situation,
Mm.
and I'm thinking, have they rehearsed that?
Yeah.
Have they spent time in the mirror just watching, wondering how to inflect certain words to sort of try and convey what you want to say and all this sort of stuff, or
Mm.
are we meant to believe that they can just like do this oration of, it doesn't, it it jars basically
Yeah.
when I come across it. But as far as the in media res is concerned, for once, it's very rare, but I doff my hat. I didn't mind it when I finally caught up to the actual scene itself. Anyway, so this is directed by a Turkish guy called Tolga Karel. Sorry, murdering your name. Tolga Karaselik.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely murdered it.
Yeah.
This is his first American film, but he has made a few films in Turkey before this, as well as a TV show. So yeah, obviously he had a decent sort of resume coming over. And I thought, yeah, it looks great. It works as a farce. As you say, it is quirky with a capital Q.
Mm.
It does need something to wrap up the film at the end, other than that sort of bit of animation and narration about his stupid book. But there you go. How are you going to score it?
I don't know. I'm torn between a 6 and a 7 because, like I say, I did like it, but it pissed me off. I'll go with 7.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going with a 6. So there we go. Yeah, it did. Eventually I did get into this, but that opening bit monologuing through me, but there you go.
Mm.
A 6 and a 7 for Psychotherapy, the shallow tale of a writer who decided to write about a serial killer. Go check it out. Our next review is Sovereign. A father and son who identify as sovereign citizens, a group of anti-government extremists, find themselves in a standoff with a chief of police that sets off a manhunt. So I mentioned earlier, Amanda, about a couple of films on this list which are inherently American. You know, the
Yeah.
stories they're telling are very much American, and this is very much an American story. I don't think there's another country where people are so fucked up and so
Yeah.
anti-government in the way that they sort of, you know, developing all these conspiracies about the government and sort of coming up with these sort of weird, convoluted reasons for things. You know, I know my rights and all the rest of it. You know, all this sort of weird shit. It is very American. It is
Yeah.
very very MAGA. Basically, is what
Yeah.
it is.
And it's very timely and
It
quite
is.
uncomfortable at points.
Yes.
I mean, I do enjoy that it didn't paint anything as black and white. It kind of gets at people in life are grey and they do have breaking points.
Mm.
It's sad to realise, like, there are people like this and how easy it is to lose someone like that.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely, and it is a slippery slope, and it's sort of the main character in this, played by Nick Offerman. You know, he is, you know, he's kind of like a grassroots civil rights kind of thing, but totally skewed, as if, you know, it's kind of like the legal part of the Proud Boys or something. You know,
Mm.
he's someone who's like informing them about, you know, oh, your rights as a citizen and all this. You know, that whole thing where he's sort of trying to trying to inform the traffic police that he's not in a vehicle. You know, I'm not driving, I'm traveling, I'm allowed to travel, all this sort of stuff. You know, it's that sort of like manipulation of words, basically, to try and.
Yeah, he's so good in this though. Like, he's somehow like really charismatic, but he's also like really shallow and like desperate
Mm.
and really nihilistic. But Jacob Tremblay is good as well. I mean, he's always great. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that kid be bad.
Well, it's
He's
interesting
so
because
torn.
because we, you know, I saw the name and I thought that name is so familiar, and I looked at his IMDb. And Steve, do you remember we covered Wonder
Yeah.
ages ago on the
Yeah.
Smoking Lamb? Yeah, and he was in that. I was like, bloody hell, yeah, I remember that one. It was that was a hell of a lot better than I remember, you know, than I expected it to be. Anyway, digress.
But it was great in Room as well. Don't forget.
Never saw that one.
You didn't see Room? The
No.
Brie Larson got the Oscar for.
Yeah, no.
Oh, mate, that's a great film.
Yeah, you need to see that one.
All right. Yeah, I'll put that on my Century of Cinema list because I'm getting towards.
Mike isn't the only sinner. I haven't seen it either.
Oh, good. Yeah. So it is kind of depressing.
Yeah.
In its sort of portrayal of, you know, this sort of you know, the lower class America kind of thing, and you know, the situation that Jacob Tremblay's character finds himself in. You know, he dotes on his father and the things he says. You know, but at the same time, he wants to be a good person. You know, but he's sort of pushed into a corner by what happens. You know, how he sees things happening to his dad and things like that. Yeah, and then we have the other side of it as well. You know, we got Dennis Quaid as the sort of chief of police. His son is a highway patrol officer, and you know, we get a lot of stuff with them. How we see how they are trained to deal with people as well, and you kind of think, well, that's kind of part of the problem as well. You know, it's that sort of thing. Well, you know, we have to subdue you before we do anything else. You know, we have to, in order to sort of protect ourselves and everything. We have to subdue you, and if you resist, we're going to subdue you even harder, kind of thing. So you can kind of see how this situation spirals, and the whole thing with the sort of administration, legislation, and all that sort of stuff, and how it seems to be designed to sort of just trip people up. Once it gets sort of caught in it, it just gets sort of worse and worse. Yeah. Any other thoughts on this one?
No, I just really liked it. I really loved the traffic stop scene.
Yeah.
Just again, it does that both sides thing where you see the obvious devastation that these guys are causing to other people and to their families, but then they're also causing a lot of devastation for themselves
Yeah.
because now they're on the run, and that poor kid is definitely not having the life that he deserves as a normal teenager. But it did that a lot throughout as well, which I really, really liked about it.
Yeah. The scene where Dennis Quaid's with his wife, and they, he hears the stuff on the highway patrol radio, and that sort of leads them to sort of get into to the traffic. That whole scene was quite devastating as well.
Yeah.
Sort of seeing it from that side. So you get the idea of the loss with it as well. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's just felt, if the UK version of this would be a segment on Good Morning TV.
Probably.
It'll be one of those little stories of on Good Morning TV sort of thing, where somebody sort of got the hump with the the local council and things like that. But yeah, only in America, basically. That's my review.
I remember that scene in The Loop with Steve Coogan.
Oh yeah, right. I haven't
where
seen that.
It's really good. It's like a sort of spin off to the thick of it.
Oh
But
yeah.
there's a scene where he's upset about a wall, and it's the most British thing you'll ever see.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
remember
him
that.
shouting at his MP about a wall.
Yeah,
Yeah, so good.
absolute classic, that bit.
Yeah.
Genius. Right. Okay. On that note, how are you going to score Sovereign?
Probably an 8. I did really like it.
Wow.
I think it's pretty solid. Yeah, an 8.
Nice. Okay. I'm giving it a 7. Not really my cup of tea, this one, but it was entertaining enough. So there we have it, a 7 and an 8 for Sovereign. Go check it out. Our next film is Riff. A former criminal's ordinary life is turned upside down when his old family shows up for a long-awaited reunion. Okay, so this has got a hell of a cast, Steve.
Yeah.
But kind of like Americana, this is pretty much a sort of shaggy dog story, and it takes a long time before we really know what's going on.
Yes.
We got lots of different characters. We've got ridiculous actors in here. We got Bill Murray in here. Ed Harris.
Jennifer Coolidge.
Jennifer Coolidge. Thank you. We've got bloody thingamajig in Peter Davison. Pete Davison, I should say, not Peter Davison.
Yeah.
Who we covered recently in The Home. Yeah, so it's got a heck of a cast. I don't know if it's got a story to do it justice.
No.
Overall, I did like some of the editing. I must admit, there's a whole bit where the son, is it Donnie or
Rocco?
That's it, Rocco,
Yeah.
is finally explaining what happened and why him and his girlfriend are have come over. And we get this sort of flashback of what's been going on, and it stops at a crucial moment because somebody, outside of the story has come into the room, said something, and everyone's going, "Oh, right," and then back to the story, and it cuts straight back into the flashback, which I thought was really, really neat. I thought that was really, really good. There's other scenes like when Bill Murray and Pete Davison go to visit Rocco's other family. Is it
his mum in it?
Yeah.
Jennifer Coolidge.
No, the other one where they go around the house and they're sort of like, yeah, oh, we hope to surprise him, and and they give him
Ah, right,
directions to the to the to where they're staying, and that
yeah.
whole scene,
Right, yeah.
yeah, was really good. It's just weird seeing Bill Murray still acting. I thought he retired, or
Well,
maybe he's just retired from doing Ghostbuster stuff. I don't know,
yeah,
but
you know what it's like. He just
yeah,
does what he wants when he wants
Mhm.
something.
Well, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some interesting bits to this, and I didn't find it particularly funny, which is a shame, because that's what it's going for. It's another farce kind of scenario. What do you make of that?
Right, yeah, like you say, great cast, not enough story, and it's far too long.
Hmm.
Like you say, it takes what 45, 50 minutes before you even get the gist of it,
Hmm.
or what's happening, and the build up to that is nothing really. There's nothing going on.
It's
I
just
was-
it's just the
it's like,
relationship dynamics, isn't it? This is
yeah, that's it, and I don't know if you try to use that to build tension or what, but it doesn't really work.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, you've got Ed Harris and his new wife and son, and then his other son turns up with his pregnant girlfriend and his ex-wife. And all right, yeah, there might be something in that, but 45, 50 minutes of that before it even gets to the thingy, gets to the main gist of the story, and then you've got like another hour on top of that.
Hmm.
It's just far too long and stretched out. It really is. I mean, if there was tension there or something else, giving it a bit more, then fair enough. If it fits the length of it, it'll be good. But it doesn't. It really, really doesn't. And again, I was a bit disappointed in the ending of this.
There's no consequences or
No,
anything.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, what? I don't know. Have they got away with it, or is it
Hmm.
anyone else getting involved, or anything like that? There's nothing. So again, it just seems to stop short and just finish on a dime, basically.
Yeah.
And I get they probably try to be ambiguous and like, oh, look at us, aren't we good? But yeah, it doesn't work. So the cast, amazing. I mean, to be fair, the performances are good,
Hmm.
but there's just no substance there. You know,
Hmm.
there's nothing to grab you or pull you deeper into the story. I just think it's 45 minutes of like, two separated families bickering. And
Yeah. It's Ocean's 12, basically, is what it is.
yeah, yeah.
Now, this is directed by a guy called Dino Montiel,
Mm,
who he did a film called A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints. He also did a film called Fighting with Channing Tatum back in the day, and he's done a few other sort of quite, you know, well-known films in between. So I can kind of see how he managed to sort of pull a cast together
mm,
like this, for sure. And I think, yeah, it's not the direction, it's not the editing or anything like that. It's just the story that's
yeah.
sort of really, really sort of dragging this one down, unfortunately. How are you going to score it?
6.
Yep. 2 6s for Riff Raff. Go check it out. Our next film is The Astronaut. In again. An astronaut believes something extraterrestrial has followed her back to Earth. Full stop. Um, this is an interesting one. I did like a lot of this, I have to
It's
admit.
there's quite a lot of good stuff in it.
Yeah, there is. There's some very silly stuff as well. Um, Lawrence Fishburne might as well just have a sign around his neck saying, "Not sinister." You
Hmm.
know, he plays Kate Mara's stepfather, who's also a general in the military.
Yeah.
She's an astronaut. She's just done her first solo mission, come back to Earth, and they've put her in a very nice sort of country villa kind of place, so she can recuperate. You know, they do tests on her daily, all this sort of stuff. But you know, after a couple of days, she starts to see something, and she starts to think that maybe something followed her back. You know, her capsule and everything. And of course, you know, her stepdad, Lawrence Fishburne, is going, "No, you're being silly. Of course, nothing follows you back. Oh, the cameras. Oh, yeah, the cameras are here for not nefarious reasons at all. You just don't worry. You just recuperate." We do get some silly scenes. There's stuff like, you know, intruder alarms go off in the villa, so she locks herself in her room because something's on the other side of the door. And then a moment later, she goes outside to see if anything's outside. And it's like, you know, it's silly stuff like that. It's like, well, where is this threat then? You know, you make up your mind. Is it indoors? Is it outdoors? What's going on? Yeah, obviously there's something going on with Lawrence Fishburne's character, but it's more interesting than you think. Yeah, I thought this was pretty solid overall. I mean, it's one or two silly bits. They do sort of push into one film that I was reminded of was Extro, just for weird reasons.
I've seen that one.
It's just for some of the imagery towards the end. It was a bit similar. They do try for the old Velociraptor in the kitchen kind of thing, and so somebody mentioned another Spielberg movie, which I won't. So you know, there's other things like that, obviously, you know, on a bit more of a budget. But yeah, I thought overall this wasn't too bad. The sort of sciencey bits were actually quite good.
Yeah.
So you know, and obviously any film with Lawrence Fishburne's going to earn itself a point. What did you make of it, Amanda?
I didn't love it. I liked most of it. I think the third act kind of lets it down a bit.
Sorry?
Sort of just the third act kind of lets it down.
It does,
really,
yeah.
Yeah, it's like rushed in, and I think it relied on flashbacks a wee bit too much. But generally, I did quite like it.
Yeah, I get where, yeah, especially with those flashbacks. It's like it's a rush to explain what had happened, and then we get sort of Lawrence Fishburne sort of like confirming it after the effects. He just goes, "Yeah, it's true," or something along those lines, and that's about the being all of it. Yeah, so this is directed by Jess Varley. It's her second full feature. She also did a segment in an anthology film we haven't covered yet, Rich, called Phobias. That'd be interesting to sort of dig that out at some point, maybe for a throwback at some point. We'll have to sort of see what the state of that is. One other cast member I spotted in this is a woman called Ivana Milicevic, who was in the TV show Banshee.
Oh yeah.
She's done loads of great stuff.
Yeah, and the 100, which I haven't seen, but she was in that for a lot as well. But yeah, so good solid cast. Yeah, decent director, reasonable special effects, but good production value with everything else. I found, especially the opening bit as well. You know, where they recover the capsule.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, yeah, okay, that's some decent money being thrown at that sequence. But
I like the use of the house because it's obviously just a single space. They did really well with it.
Yeah, exactly. So most of the film takes place in a single location, which is something we've covered lots of times. But yeah, it was interesting. So yeah, how are you going to score it, Amanda?
I'd probably give it a 7, just because that third act is just the tonal shift is just weird. And it didn't really fit, but generally I did really like it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, 2 7s for The Astronaut. Go check it out. Our final main review is The Shepherd Code 2 Road Back. Alex Lapierre was once a professional assassin. He now leads a peaceful existence far removed from his tumultuous past. However, the past never stays buried for long. I was not aware this was a sequel going into this, guys.
No.
That surprised me when I started writing up a few notes and things. We've got an interesting cast. We've got Don the Dragon Wilson, and also Mark Strange. So Don Wilson was in the previous part alongside Alan Delaby, who plays Lapierre, who also co-directed both films. So we've also got Mark Strange in this one as a sort of hitman, and we do get a bit of Shayna West sort of late in the film as well, which I'll come back to shortly. But did anyone understand what the fuck was going on in this film?
No. Well, yeah, kind of. Kind of.
Yeah. It was just a bunch of guys with beards beating each other up for a lot of it.
Yeah.
I just did not understand what really the whole point of it was.
Well,
Uh,
I think what it was,
mm,
in the first one, the bad guy is blown up in a car.
Yes, they
But,
refer to that. Mark Strange's character
yeah,
refers to that, doesn't they? Yeah.
but he doesn't die. Comes back 5 years later for revenge.
Uh-huh.
But instead of killing them all, he fucking kidnaps them and takes them back to some garage or something, or warehouse or whatever,
Yeah.
where you know it's all going to go down in there at the end, and it's all going to go to shit for him.
Mm.
And that's basically it. And the acting was terrible. I didn't think the action was up to much. And the bit that really got me was at the beginning, where he's supposed to be in Portugal on a boat,
Yeah.
and you can see the Golden Gate Bridge behind it.
That threw me so much because it's
Yeah,
like, wait, they
yeah.
have a bridge like the Golden Gate Bridge in Portugal.
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah, but most of the film was shot in England as well, by the looks of it.
Yep, probably, yeah. Yeah, it could have been anywhere. It's just dingy
It's,
streets and
one
fucking
of those sort of
warehouses.
typical sort of generic
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Other than my misgivings, what do you actually make of it?
I just didn't like it. I thought it was awful. Wasn't as bad as that, the one that was directed and written and starred the model. I can never remember the name of it, but it was just like a vanity project for him, and it screams of like really, really bad Van Damme. You know, no, because I think he was like an old karate or kickboxing champion. I think
Most likely
the main guy. Can't remember.
Rich, did you look him up, Alan Delaby?
Yeah, I've come across him before. He did a series of films with a character called Denard, and they kind of got a bit mixed up because I think they were released with like different titles, so or re-edits. So
Right.
I think there's been like 2 or 3 of them, and I felt like, oh, I've seen that one, but have I seen that one, or is that the same film? I wasn't quite sure. But he's very much come out of the sort of self-made micro-budget sort of action star kind of route. He's a French guy working in English language, Hollywood. Clearly likes, clearly has a fondness for the classics of the like 80s and 90s, but he's working with much lower budgets. But I like the fact that he gets some of these familiar faces like Don the Dragon Wilson and stuff on board.
Yeah, that's kind of a bit like Aya Payaya, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
That's
sort
a
of
good
thing.
comparison. Although although Arapaya had really good skills, and I don't think Alan Delaby is that great in the action. Although one of the things I really like this is there's a bit that's completely incidental where he's working some nunchucks and he's really good. He's really working them well. So and I think in a couple of the bits and that he does show some skills. So I will put that one to it. I'll let you guys speak a bit more before I start interjecting with any further thoughts though.
The film's strength for me, and its kind of biggest weakness, bizarrely, is the introduction of Shayna West, who I'm a huge fan of after her film Jade that we covered, and also her appearances in films like The Killer's Game and The Woman King. She's in both of those. An unmistakable actress because of her huge afro that she has in every film. But she's absolutely great in this, as you'd expect.
She gets the best scene. She gets the best
scene, but she's also the best actor.
Yeah.
Out of all of them, she didn't get a lot of lines, but what she does, she delivers perfectly, and it just wipes the floor with everyone else. Basically, she just seems so more comfortable in her performance. It just shows everyone else up. It's like, oh Christ, here's a real actress. comes in by mistake. But yeah, I did like her scenes, and I was glad to sort of see her in this for sure.
Yeah,
anything else?
Like I say, oh yeah, no, I mean, say she does get the best scene in the film. I did watch the previous film, The Shepherd Code. And this, by comparison, this was a big step up. And I would say, remember that Angel of the Warrior or whatever that we watched?
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Yeah.
That was that French micro budget kind of thing. Well, even The Shepherd Code was much more of a movie than that was, in my opinion. I'd say it's a step up. This is still fairly bottom of the barrel kind of stuff. If you're and it's hardcore fans only kind of thing. But I will say that one of the disappointments about the first film was Don Wilson just has a very quick cameo. And in this, he has several scenes and fight scenes, which isn't bad considering his age. He must have been, because he's 71 now, he must have been 69, 70 when he shot it. So, I thought he did well, all things considered. I think I bring... Personally, I feel I have a lot of. I can give more points to this one through goodwill because of things like the Shayna West action scene.
Yeah,
I think it's really worth seeing. I mean, or if you could just see that scene on YouTube, that's probably enough. But that really that was a real high point for the film. But I do like seeing people like Mark Strange. I mean, in the first film we had Silvio Simac, who I've been a big fan of for ages. Luckily, felt fortunate. We went to the. Didn't get a chance to go this year. Fighting Spirit Film Festival. Didn't get a chance to go 10 years this year. But a few years ago, I went and he was there, so I did get a chance to speak to him very briefly, which was cool because I've seen him in loads of stuff over the years. If you're not familiar with him, look him up. He had a fight with Jason Statham in Transporter 3 and done loads of B movies and stuff. But in this one,
Ip Man 4 as well.
Oh, was he in that? I still haven't seen that, to be honest. Was Mark Strange in that one as well?
That's what I mean. Sorry, Mark Strange was, yeah.
Oh, so Mark Strange. So in this one we get Mark Strange playing another bad guy character, and I always enjoy seeing him. He was at Fighting Spirit this year. I think he's been a couple of times, but he was doing a QA and stuff for his film Kung Fu
Games, yeah.
Kung Fu Games, which I still haven't seen. And yeah, I thought so. Having those guys in it, and also James Bennett, who was from Fatal Deviation, but also more recently did appear in Steven Seagal's Attrition. He has a fight scene early in the film, so I enjoyed seeing him. So there's a few familiar faces floating around, but yeah, it's a revenge plot. Wasn't really that bothered. The bad guy, the main bad guy, because going back to Silvio. Silvio was the bad guy in the first film, and there wasn't a really cool showdown fight scene at the end.
Right.
Well, this film corrects that. There is a lot more action as the end of this film goes. There is say Shiner included. There's a lot of action, and Mark Strange and stuff. But our main bad guy is Blake Dumont, played by Michael McCall, who we've seen in like Steve Lawson's Jekyll and Hyde.
Right,
yeah. There was another one we watched. I think there was another one we watched him in. Can't remember. But yeah, so so he's floated around the sort of British gangster movies and stuff like that over the years. So I thought he was pretty good. But it's not great. Say it is. Oh, here's another thing I want to point out. Did you recognise the first person to appear on screen, the guy being tortured?
No.
No.
I don't know if you ever come across him. He's a YouTuber called That Fat Samurai Guy.
All right.
His real name's Preston Downey.
Yeah.
But he's got a very distinctive look. He's got like the mohawk and stuff. And I was like, that's because I'm always seeing him pop up in my feed. And
he
stuff.
did actually. Yeah, he looked familiar, but I didn't sort of peg him to anything in particular.
Yeah. So this was miles better than the first one, I think. But that's not saying a huge amount. If you're a John the Dragon Wilson fan, you'll get a kick out of seeing him have a couple of fight scenes, and if you're a fan of some of the new generation like Shiner West, you'll get a kick out of seeing her. But Alan Delarby, I really don't think it's he's really trying. He's made several so many films now, but it's just, and he's slow. The quality is improving, but I'm just not sold on him. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there's the potential for him to get a better role in a bigger quality film. Maybe not as the lead, that we'll really sort of see him shine. But yeah, it's not quite working as the action hero. There is a third Shepherd Code film apparently coming, and it corrects one of the issues that the first two films have had, which was that Eric Roberts wasn't in it. So
yeah, that's a step up.
Fun.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. All right, guys, how are we going to score it? Steve?
I'll give it a 5.
Yeah, and Rich?
Yeah, it's a 5 from me as well.
Even with Shiner West in it?
Even with Shiner West, yeah.
Even
I
with
would
Shiner
say the first film was like a 3, and I'd say this is a 5.
No, yeah, what I'm saying is, even with Shiner West in it, I have to give it a 5.
Yeah.
So there we go. Yeah, 3 5s.
I mean, her scene is like a 7 or an 8.
Yeah.
It's a good scene.
It is
It's actually a really well choreographed scene.
Yeah, but even her acting just sort of blows everyone else away. But there we go. So the Shepherd Code 2 gets 3 5s from us. Go check it out. Our short chop this week is the milk situation. In an office tower overrun by supernatural forces, 2 men offering their cleanup services stand between the forces of good and evil. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It's very cheap. I mean, it admits it's cheap. They did it on a zero budget, basically. I like that it wrong-footed you right from the off, because the first thing you get is this sort of exorcism scene, and you think it's going to be about an exorcism, and then it's just these 2 guys sort of wandering the corridors of this office block, sort of trying to stop evil stuff from happening, and being chased by a werewolf. Yeah, I thought this was pretty good. It sort of morphs into a fight scene, but a fight scene with a twist. It was short and sharp and quite witty. I enjoyed it. Amanda, what do you make of it?
Oh, I loved it. It was so much fun.
It is.
Really good choreography and like kinetic camera work. And I loved intercutting that all-out brawl that one guy was having with a guy trying to catch a werewolf with some milk.
Yeah.
It was just really fun and really silly. I also read they shot it in a day, which is astounding. It said it on the description, and I was like, well, that's amazing, because some of that choreography was there was a lot of it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you had about 6 or 7 people involved in that. Running around. I mean, that was pretty good. I liked the end part of that as well. When there's just the possessed person left. I thought that was really good, especially with with the sort of solution that they come up with. But I just like also even before that, I just like the banter between the two. It seemed quite natural, quite quite comfortable, and it was amusing. I really did enjoy it. Steve, what do you make of it?
Yeah, it's just a bit mental, isn't it? Really, it's all over the place, but in a good way. Yeah, let's get chased through a building by a werewolf and then get it back with some milk to stop the random nuns and priests who are doing an exorcism from killing us. Yeah, but like I say, if that was done in a day, they've done a bloody good job.
Yeah.
It is shot well, it's choreographed well. It's just a mad random 5 minutes, really.
It is, but at the same time, I think they've got hold of a decent concept that could either make a TV show or even a film. I think it could definitely because if you got like this sort of office block or whatever, it's been shut down, and the sort of episodic nature of it would lend itself to a series, but at the same time, you could quite easily turn it into a decent sort of 90-minute horror movie or horror comedy. So yeah, Rich, any more you can tell us about this one?
No, it's made by it's made by director John Ferrer, and I'm not sure if we covered it before, but he's done quite a few shorts in the past. One was like a zombie film called Bitten, in which a couple of women fight off. I think they're fighting off some zombies in a shed sort of environment. I can't remember it particularly well, unfortunately, but I did remember I was impressed by it, and I watched it a couple of times. He's got a really good eye. He works doing all sorts of things, including music videos and stuff. But action and horror and comedy and stuff, he seems very adept at mixing up sci-fi. He does all sorts of bits and pieces. So he's definitely one of the directors I'm keeping an eye on. I did enjoy this one a lot, and it was really mainly it's already been mentioned, the camera work and stuff, the way it's done. I think also the color palette of the film with all its with the sort of the reds and the sort of you can see it in the poster, the sort of red, blue, kind of black kind of combinations and stuff that they've got in there. But the way the fight scenes are shot, the fight scenes shot with the camera's really flowing around. And that.
See, I was reminded of the Raid and that, not the Raid, but Moranto, sort of early sort of Gareth Evans stuff, and the sort of cameras that he was using. Definitely. Yes. I would love to have spent more time with the two guys, Pip and Poe, whatever they're called, because I think if they'd sort of built on that banter that they had, playing off each other, I thought that worked really well, and I would have loved to see more of that on top of everything else.
Yeah, I think it's kind of one of those things we've seen stuff like that many times over the years, and I was like, this is kind of in a sort of variant way. It's a relative of like Abbott and Costello Meet the Wolfman or something like that. It's like a bit. I mean, even like the Peg and Frost, Ice Cream Trilogy films. They've kind of done similar stuff with The World's End and that, where or even Hot Fuzz, really, because there's a strong horror element to that, where you've got these two guys just sort of being the sort of comedy leads, and then the sort of this weird and Shaun of the Dead, obviously. You got all this stuff happening around them, and you mix that tone, and I think it was this was it was a good introduction. So I wasn't familiar with any of apart from the director. I'm not familiar with the guys who were in it, but I thought everyone did a really good job, and they had a really great look and stuff. It's well worth checking out.
Absolutely. We don't score the shorts, but we do recommend you check them out, and you'll find a link to this in the footnotes below. Go check it out. Our DTV throwback this week is Open Grave. A man wakes up in an open mass grave with no idea as to who he is or how he got there. Finding a small group of people in the same predicament, they band together to find out what mess they're actually in. Yeah, I like this one. I did see it a while back. It stars Sharlto Copley from District 9 and the A-Team and a few other things. Monkey Man as well. And, you know, we open with him waking in this, you know, mass grave of sort of dead people, crawling out of it, finding a house with a few other people sort of arguing amongst themselves as to what's going on. So a lot of the film is about them exploring their environment, finding tiny clues as to what's going on, and us, the audience, sort of learning with them. It gets a bit loud at times, a bit over the top with the sort of histrionics, but I do like this one. I thought it was a good little sort of puzzle piece. Amanda, what do you make of Open Grave?
I would say I liked it, although I'd heard of it, but I hadn't seen it till today, so I thought it was just him stuck in a grave for the whole film. But no, it was pretty heavy-handed, but I did like the kind of mystery and the twistiness of it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the ending though. It feels like a weird reset, which annoyed me. But everything before that I did generally really like. I thought the acting was really good. I liked the relationships between all the characters, especially as they revealed more as it went on. But it kept me entertained. It kept me in it.
Good. Yep. Steve, how do you get on with Open Grave?
Yeah, I enjoyed it actually. I remember it coming out and it getting quite good reviews and stuff, but never got around to watching it. But yeah, it's so twisty turny, and to be fair, I did kind of like the ending. You know, like Amanda was saying, like it's a reset in a way, but I think that would be the only way around it in my head. You know, that they could do it like that. But yeah, I thought it was really well done, really well shot, well acted, and it's like our first hour, 45 minutes, it's just weird. You haven't got a clue what's going on. And then at the end, I think it does itself justice for all the twisty turny bits, and it does actually pull itself together and give you actual coherent ending, which sometimes in these things it doesn't work. But with this, I thought it really did. And yeah, I thought it was really good actually.
Yeah, it's interesting that they sort of get to that point where it's like, well, the only way out of this is to make the same mistake again, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Were you surprised when I'm going to mention it? Were you surprised when the zombies turned up in the story?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, slightly.
Because there's there's no real sort of clue to it until you see the guy in the barbed wire fence.
Yeah, and the one she like chained up in a shed or something.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Because to a certain degree, it actually does paint them quite sympathetic because you realise they are sort of victims of what's going on.
Yeah, they still feel like humans because they like talk, and they're not just like falling around trying to eat people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like they're only when they're sort of in close proximity, they that sort of urge sort of kicks in. Otherwise, they're sort of like people who are just like really overcome by their situation. It's I enjoyed it. So this is directed by a guy called Gonzalo Lopez Galejo. Galejo. I murder everyone's name, honestly. I should be in prison for all the homicidal names. But he directed a film I really like called The Hollow Point, which had Patrick Wilson. It's one we covered, I believe, a while back.
Oh yeah, that was really good.
That was a good one. He also did the DTV Backdraft 2, the DTV
Oh,
sequel.
yeah.
I really want to see that. It's kind of
I liked
weird.
it.
It never turned up on any streaming site. You can VOD it, you can buy it and rent it, but I keep waiting for it to turn up on Sky or Netflix or something, but it never has. It was good, was it?
It was very enjoyable, and I like that one. He also did Apollo 18, which I've never seen, which is the one where it's like
Found footage kind
I
of
think
thing?
it's like a found footage one, about a lunar mission, where they find some sort of creepy crawlies or something.
I was quite drawn to. I didn't get a chance to see the whole film, but I was quite intrigued by the opening because it's the setup is very similar to. Well, I've seen a couple of things, but there was a film called Unknown, which had Jim Caviezel and I think Greg Kinnear and a whole bunch of other people. Basically, a bunch of people wake up in a warehouse. They've all got amnesia, and
that's right.
It's kind of a similar setup with this, but then there's the horror element, and when you first see Sholto Copley at the beginning, it's like, holy, what's happening? There's all the cracking and stuff going on, and twisting, and I'm really intrigued to find out. I mean, I think because I still had half an hour left, but it felt like it had showed its hand quite early, and I was wondering where it was going to go from there. So I'm quite intrigued to see what's going to happen at the end, but I'll talk to you about it off air, but there was an element of, is this going to be something like Identity? And if anyone's seen Identity, they'll know what I mean by that.
No, it doesn't go that route. No.
Right.
No.
Okay. But yeah, cool. I was intrigued. I thought it was. I was quite intrigued by some of it. It felt. I was watching it on Prime, and it felt like it was one of those films where like halfway pan and scan, where it's widescreen to fill a screen TV screen, but it feels like they've chopped the sides off. It's like it should have black bars, but they've cut them off. Some of the shots just seemed way too zoomed in, and some of the other stuff. I mean, we've got Thomas Kretschmann in there, who I really like, so I liked seeing him. There was some interesting stuff happening with the dynamics of the group. And I thought the cast was quite interesting, but yeah, I wasn't fully getting into it. I was a bit distracted, and I felt like maybe some of I don't know if you feel the same way. Of like there was like the plots, the characters sort of went off in different directions, and we were kind of spending some time with one character, and then we were going to, and it didn't feel as coherent as it could have.
No, yeah, I agree, and it meandered a bit. It could have been a bit shorter overall.
How long was it? Was it nearly 2 hours?
45, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That sounds good.
But anyway, but I thought it was relatively solid. I'm glad you guys got something out of it. We don't score the throwbacks, but we do recommend you check them out. As Richard mentioned, it's on Amazon Prime. It's also on Plex, I believe. Probably other streaming channels that whatever you use, you probably be able to find it. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it. It's got some good special effects, good cast, good mystery to it. Worth having a look. And that's the end of this week's show. So thank you guys for checking out all these films. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and X and Blue Sky at the DTV Digest. Also the Short Shots, where we've looked at a whole bunch of short films with links to them. Other than that, everyone, thank you for listening. Tune in next time.
Thank you for listening to the DTV Digest. Let us know your thoughts in the comments and tune in again next time.